IAA Mobility à Munich, un festival de concept cars futuristes et respectueux de l'environnement. Les concept cars exposés à l'IAA Mobility de Munich jusqu'au 12 septembre 2021 plongent les automobilistes dans un futur plus ou moins proche où il n'est plus simplement question de conduite, mais également de détente et de bien-être à bord de véhicules durables. Une voiture tournée vers l'économie circulaire. Avec ce nouveau concept, BMW voit à long terme. Avec la BMW Vision Circulaire, le constructeur allemand présente sa vision d'une voiture compacte, luxueuse et durable à l'horizon 2040. Ce concept 4 places entièrement électrique au design épuré a été pensé selon des principes de l'économie circulaire. Il en résulte une voiture sans peinture extérieure, sans cuir et sans chrome, composée principalement de pièces en matériaux recyclés imprimés en 3D. L'idée à travers ce concept est de réduire les émissions de CO2 tout au long du cycle de vie d'un véhicule. À l'intérieur, le conducteur et le passager avant évoluent dans un espace tout en transparence, sous un toit en verre, où les écrans sont remplacés par un affichage tête haute sur le pare-brise. Des haut-parleurs situés sous les coussins des appuis-têtes offrent à chaque siège de la voiture sa propre zone sonore, ce qui permet à chacun de profiter de ses propres contenus audio. Ce concept dispose en outre de mise à jour à distance, OTA, permanente, ce qui devrait permettre de prolonger sensiblement son cycle de vie. BMW opte également pour la recharge bidirectionnelle, ce qui signifie que la voiture agit, si nécessaire, comme un dispositif de stockage d'énergie pouvant alimenter en électricité son environnement.
Nachhaltigkeit. For BMW, sustainability means caring about resources, utilizing renewable energies, and showing appreciation for nature.
The BMW i4 and iX are produced with regional and green electricity from hydropower plants of the Isar and Lech rivers.
Even in the early phase of development, much attention is paid to ensuring components are sustainable in production and can be recycled afterwards.
The recycling rate at the plant is over 90%. The ratio of recovery, well over 99%. 45% of Dingolfing's water needs come from its own wells.
Driving in the future that's effortless and sporty.
Und Sportlichkeit.
These are just a few examples of how joy and sustainability go together.
The colleagues you see in this film represent all of us at the BMW Group. Sustainability and e-mobility are the focal points of all our actions. The BMW i4 in particular shows that e-mobility has made its way deep into the heart of the BMW brand. Together with the BMW iX, it epitomizes the perfection of electric driving, pleasure made by BMW. Fully electric for locally emission-free mobility. With a range of up to 600 kilometers, ideal for getting around town as well as between towns, with short charging times and perfectly designed for the digital future. The BMW i4 and BMW iX illustrate our capacity for innovation, our technological expertise, and our right timing. Across our global production network, we continue to reduce CO2 emissions despite building more vehicles every year. And this is important because only an absolute reduction in CO2 emissions will slow climate change. We have used only green power for our global production since 2020. The immediate and measurable effect of this is that CO2 emissions have already decreased by 1/4. And now, from 2021, all our production sites worldwide will be net carbon neutral. At this time, we are still using corresponding certificates for this. Our motto is reduction before offsets. We therefore plan to reduce our production's carbon footprint by another 80% by 2030. Sustainability can only have a real impact in conjunction with digitalization, which is another decisive enabler for the mobility of the future. Now, take a look at what we came up with.
Every city faces its own specific challenges.
In Nederland hebben we de hoogste dichtheid.
In the Netherlands, we have the densest charging network in Europe.
Deze ontwikkeling gaat
This development goes hand in hand with a growing number of electric vehicles within limited public space. The city of Rotterdam is no exception. Today, electric cars often stand at a charging point a lot longer than is necessary for charging. That's inefficient because it prevents others from accessing the charging point. Now, imagine authorities no longer have to enforce that people remove their vehicles. What if an EV driver receives a smartphone notification with a kind request to release the charging point for others? That's what our app does. It informs owners when their cars are sufficiently charged. With this project, we achieve better utilization of the existing and future charging infrastructure in cities. Together, we shape the future of sustainable urban mobility.
mobiliteit.
This project from the Netherlands can perhaps be combined with an exciting idea from California.
Our idea, why not charge when power is cleanest and best for the grid? Together with the state of California, the BMW Group is working with California energy providers. We've developed a smartphone app called Charge Forward, which intelligently determines when the best and most sustainable time to charge is. BMW Charge Forward drivers simply plug in. Then their charge is automatically shifted to the best times. This ensures their vehicle is powered with greener energy at the lowest cost. And I think that's a fabulous idea.
I was born and raised here in Beijing, and I love the city. Everyone living in a big city like Beijing is often confronted with traffic. A short journey during rush hour can take a very long time. Even taking the subway is not always an easy task. In very busy subway stations, it can take half an hour for you to board a train. So we are trying to come up with some new ideas for travel in Beijing. To improve this situation, a pilot project was carried out last year. People were able to book a specific time to enter the subway station via an app. The results were very positive. So we are now working hard to implement this idea for Beijing's road traffic. The work at BMW inspired me a lot. What we do now may change the future. It's really exciting to think about.
挺令人激动的。
Digital services make mobility even easier for our customers. Be it charging, finding a parking space, or even just integrating different methods of transport in intelligent ways. Alongside digitalization, use of space plays an increasingly important role in this. Ultimately, this is what Mini was born for, creative use of space. And that is what the Urbonaut stands for. We premiered it virtually last year. The feedback was overwhelming. And that is why it is standing here today in Munich in real life. Ladies and gentlemen, two-wheeler concepts play an increasingly important role, especially for mobility in cities. When it comes to urban two-wheeler concepts, BMW Motorrad relies exclusively on e-drives.
Usually our job is a bit mundane. When the commission came, yes, that we were actually allowed to design such an open project with an open outcome, we were chuffed to bits. For us, that really was the cherry on the cake. Sure, in the past we'd had really cool concepts in-house, such as our C1. That was well ahead of its time.
Yes, it was ahead of its time, but it was also its time. But that also had to come to an end at some point. I reckon the product has to convince you at first sight, but not in a conventional way, so that one looks at it and thinks, wow, what's that?
It shouldn't be cerebral. nor should it primarily be communicating I'm safe. Fun should be the priority. Emotion.
That you get straight off.
Right, precisely.
Yeah.
We have to do it right.
Yeah, we'll get it right.
Ultimately, it's as if we've set out on a journey. We didn't even have this young target group on our radar at all. First of all, we had to tap into it, as it were.
Anyone using the product has to grasp the design from the start. What is the statement? What's the story it's telling? I reckon smart mobility is something that has to be out of the norm. It has to be unexpected. And this moment, this unexpectedness, plays an extremely decisive role in all three concepts.
In order to break new ground, we need a new aesthetic language. You see straight off, 2 wheels, battery case, engine, that's it. The proportion's totally new, as yet unseen. This simple setup also makes access easy, something you don't have with a classic motorbike. The vehicle is your stage.
We're faced with a variety of questions. It definitely has to be zero emission, it has to be safe, it has to be fast, it has to be connected and socially accepted. But for us, what's far more important is whether it grabs you emotionally. It needs to take your breath away.
Here we are, our baby. You two have really been analyzing the target group in depth. How do they tick?
They're young. They want a really cool design. They don't want something people already know.
They want a memorable experience. They want to enter new territory, new proportions.
And at the end of the day, they're really curious too. That's why we've played with life hacks too, of course.
I'd say, go for it. Have fun. But what is passion without a vision?
Adaptive mobility is another solution we are working on. Maximum flexibility, that is what customers want all over the world. And yet, in cities, we often think in the same old categories: car, motorcycle, bicycle, or public transport. Can you imagine mobility in one vehicle? These vehicles don't fit into any category. Do you want to use the bicycle path, but still zip around in motorized traffic? Ride through parks and green spaces, but not be tied to bike paths? That is exactly what these two vehicles make possible. How does it work? Well, the speed is restricted depending on where you are riding, either manually or automatically, using geofencing technology in combination with detailed here maps. And this means you can go no faster than 25 kilometers an hour on cycle path, while on city center roads you would be limited to 45 kilometers an hour. And on bigger roads or outside urban areas, you could reach up to 60 kilometers an hour. Our BMW iVision Ambi is also geared towards the principles of the circular economy. For example, with a frame made of secondary aluminum and mounted parts of recycled plastic. They both show that we don't have to think about future mobility in terms of fixed categories. Ladies and gentlemen, curbing climate change and managing resources is a responsibility for all of us. We are doing our part to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees and paving the way for circular, closed-loop models. You can always rely on the BMW Group. We have a clear vision of what the future will look like, how we will finance it, and which technologies we will use to achieve it. Premium needs responsibility. And that is what BMW stands for. Thank you.
Un crossover qui se transforme en salle de cinéma. À plus court terme, Volkswagen prévoit de sortir un crossover urbain électrique. L'idée. Life en est le concept fondateur.
Sustainability is crucial, and this begins with the design and the materials. Marvin, what technical platform should we use?
Electric, of course. It's CO2 neutral, sustainable, and responsible. For this, we have the perfect basis, our innovative modular electric platform, or MEB for short. It's so flexible that we can change the wheelbase for different customer needs. Did you know that the ID3 and ID4, which are already on the road, and the ID5, which will premiere soon, all have the same wheelbase? And the ID Bus is coming on an even longer wheelbase next year. For a compact vision, which is about 4 meters long, we are shortening the wheelbase to 2.65 meters, all thanks to the MEB. We have a new concept for the compact car, this time with the engine being in the front. Paired with a very space-saving rear axle, we get maximum room and usability. The motor produces 172 kilowatts. It takes less than 7 seconds to go from 0 to 100. That's GTI level. And for a unique sense of freedom, you can easily remove the roof to hear the birds chirping above. As we all know, mobility is changing, and the interior is changing as well to fit the future. Inside, we have 2 comfortable benches. Actually, they are more like sofas and offer a lot of individual options. There's the classic driving position, the relaxing position, where the front bench folds down, the sleeping position that stretches out to over 2 meters, and even the cargo position if you need to transport something really big. That's our concept.
Let's talk about our design. Our job is to create an agile and versatile crossover design fitting into the urban environment. This starts with a powerful proportion. The main characteristics of our new Volkswagen are its strength, its modernity, and its timeless design. The charismatic face of our car has a backlit panel framing the matrix LED headlights with the VW logo in the center. The less decoration and fewer materials, the better. Our monolithic design is supported by a dynamic movement in the shoulder line. We put a lot of thought into the selection of sustainable materials in this car. With our main body, we are showing a first vision of a PP recyclate that doesn't need additional painting. It's timeless, for example, like an old leather jacket that ages with its owner. Really cool elements are the roof cover and the front cover. They are made out of an attractive air chamber textile that lightens the weight of the car, and they are easily removable while being connected with zippers to the body parts. You can even personalize the roof, Munich style like the Allianz Arena, or if you're more sporty, with our tartan fabric from the Golf GTI. Let's talk about the interior. We continue the minimalistic design language of the exterior and still focus on sustainable materials. It is fully integrated into our digital life, and at the same time, it also feels like a living room with a soft carpet and cocooning seats. It's flexible, adaptable, and it's premium. This cozy area has seat covers made of Art Velour Eco, which is based on recycled PET bottles and old t-shirts. And the frames around the dashboard and the rear seats are made of FSC certified wood veneer. But our finest piece in this car is the cockpit. It's not just simply a dashboard. It's a luxurious item of furniture framed by the wooden loop. Clear and minimalist, most of the controls are integrated into the steering wheel, while all key information is on the head-up display. And that's exactly where the digital world in our car really begins.
The digital world in our car needs the most modern version of our Volkswagen operating system. And just like the ID3 and the ID4, it's updated over the air. This is a completely new approach. Bring your own device is the motto. Your device handles almost everything via a completely new level of app integration. Well, everything except the steering wheel. You can use your phone or a tablet to control all the car functions intuitively, and it attaches to the dashboard magnetically. This works for navigation, route planning, parking, and so much more. I have my whole life on this phone. My contacts, calendar, emails, but also my music, games, and shows. Now, I can experience all of that in this car like never before, anywhere I go. We can transform our car into a movie theater, but please make sure your car is parked. The dashboard includes a large cinema screen with a compact video projector. You press the button, the screen appears, covers the windscreen, and it measures around 34 inches. I select the latest episode of my favorite show on my phone, move the rear seat to the relaxing position, as Marvin mentioned before, open the roof, and enjoy watching it under the stars. And there's also a game console. You can invite your friends from all over the world to play along with you. With the concept from Marvin and the design from Johannes,
and the digitalization from Jasmin,
we fulfilled our mission.
It's sustainable.
It's timeless.
It's connected.
So you're probably wondering, what does this new car look like?
And what's it called?
Introducing
ID Life.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ID Life. The ID Life is our vision of urban mobility for a young generation. A glimpse of the future. A fully electric Volkswagen in the compact segment. Our ID show car beautifully captures our key competences: electrification, software integration, quality, and premium appeal. They will pave the way to the future of mobility. And in this future, people want more. They are always on the lookout for the next great experience, a feeling that goes beyond mobility. The ID Life will match this feeling. This car is ready for extraordinary experiences online and offline. Imagine watching your favorite movie, counting the stars in the sky at night, enjoying nature far away from the city bus, or playing video games with your friends wherever, whenever you want. The ID Life will adapt your lifestyle. It will expand your living space. It will be your companion for life. Ladies and gentlemen, the ID Life proves yet again how unique the MEB is. It is the most scalable electric architecture in the industry. We are only just beginning to tap the potential of the MEB. Performance, charging, and range will keep improving with every new model. With the scaling of the platform, costs and profitability will further improve. This is a key to enter the 20,000 euro price segment. An attractive, affordable and compact ID model will be launched by 2025. Sister models for Cupra and Skoda are also planned. While Volkswagen will provide the platform and technology, SEAT will develop the cars and CARIAD will deliver the software. We will build our new compact family, most likely in Spain, and we also intend to localize battery production there. This demonstrates once again that within the brand volume group, we are able to generate great synergies more than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, our Accelerate strategy carries its name for a reason. Every year, we will launch a new electric model. The next one is the ID.5. Our first SUV coupe will celebrate its world premiere early November. The ID. Bus will enter the market next year, and the ID.6, a highly emotional four-door coupe, will follow in 2023. By 2030, already more than 70% of all new Volkswagens in Europe will be electric. The last Volkswagen with a combustion engine will roll off the line here in Europe between 2033 and 35. We are pushing forward our way to zero. We enable millions of people to be part of our technological journey. Our name is our commitment. We are the people's car. Volkswagen once again will provide mobility for generations to come. We prove that with the ID.Like. I would like to thank my team, Jasmin, Johannes and Marvin, and all the colleagues who created the ID.Life. Well done. Thank you for your attention. We wish you a great IAA in Munich. Take care and goodbye. Thank you.
Une berline de luxe électrique et autonome. Audi présente de son côté Grand-Sfr, un concept de berline autonome de niveau 4, c'est-à-dire qui roule sans la moindre assistance humaine dans certaines conditions. Dans ce cas de figure, le volant et les pédales se rétractent, pour laisser la place à un véritable espace de détente. Selon le mode de conduite, les informations s'affichent sur toute la largeur de l'habitacle ou segmentées pour le conducteur et le passager avant.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu unserer Panel-Diskussion zum Thema Aufbruch in neue digitale Welten.
Wir wollen unseren Kundinnen und Kunden also exklusive, auch gut kuratierte Serviceangebote machen und ihnen damit das Leben erleichtern, denn das Auto wird zum Lebensraum.
Es wird einfach immer individueller und wir müssen jeden einzelnen Kunden genau mit dem adressieren, was er oder sie braucht.
Also was wir heute auf jeden Fall schon haben, ist die My Audi App. Das ist der Schlüssel im Prinzip, um das Fahrzeug zu individualisieren, die Funktionen vorzubereiten und zu nutzen. Und wir können, wenn der Kunde seine Zustimmung gibt, auch Datentransfer zum Händler machen, was dann für einen Servicefall einen Riesenvorteil darstellt.
Datensicherheit, oberstes Gebot, für uns super wichtig, das Vertrauen auch zu gewinnen, dass die Daten dort sicher sind.
Man kann gerade an dem Fahrzeug auch sehr schön sehen, wie mutig Audi eigentlich auch die Zukunft neu definiert. Und ich glaube, diesen Pioniergeist und diesen Mut, auch mal andere Wege zu gehen, den sollte Audi auf jeden Fall weiter kultivieren.
Ich schaue super positiv in die Zukunft. Zum einen haben wir hier schon heute fantastische elektrische Fahrzeuge auf der Straße, die man hier ja auch erleben kann. Aber wissend, was da noch alles in der Pipeline ist, stimmt mich extrem zuversichtlich und positiv. Und ich freue mich einfach sehr auf das, was da noch kommen wird und bin gespannt, wie das dann auch so ankommt.
Und damit lassen Sie uns bitte gemeinsam die Zukunft beschreiten. Sie wird digital, sie wird nachhaltig und sie wird Audi. Vielen Dank.